Hello and welcome to Habit Nerd, a podcast show that knows that few things can have a more powerful impact on your life than improving your daily systems, habits, and mindset. I'm your host, Dr. Bree Hurn, a multi-passionate researcher, lecturer, speaker, and coach. Once a perfectionist who was always busy but not necessarily effective, I overcame illness and burnout and am now obsessed with sharing the science and systems for working with efficiency and habits for abundant health in your mind and your body. Each week, my guests and I share stories and lessons backed by research. So let's buckle up and dive straight into today's empowering conversation. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Habit Nerd podcast. I'm delighted to have your company with me again today. Now, in this busy end of the year and as we wrap up all of the work tasks and all of the family tasks and all of our responsibilities that are piling on top of us, on top of the holiday season and all of the fun and parties and social events that brings, we are focusing on energy because obviously we need buckets of it at this time of year. So our levels of energy, and I'm talking here both physical energy and mental and emotional energy, have a major impact on our ability to be able to engage fully in our lives, in all of our responsibilities, as I just said, with our loved ones and with our communities. Now, it would be fair to say, Habit Nerds, that I'm a bit obsessed with energy. My interest in energy comes from a personal story because in my mid-20s, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, or ME, which stands for myalgic encephalitis. Now, very, very surface level understanding of CFS or of ME is that it is a chronic syndrome, which is a collection of symptoms, and one of the predominant ones is fatigue. Now, your nervous system is working overtime and you are really struggling to be able to manage to get through your day and all of the responsibilities, and there are lots and lots of physical symptoms. For me, it was things like body aches and headaches and brain fog and just a general exhaustion and inability to be able to work or function or socialize and do all of the things that someone in their mid-20s needs to do and wants to do. So that was unfortunate, but after a couple of years, I was really, really lucky after some hard work to recover and to get better. And I can talk about that experience in more depth in another episode. But what it did leave me with is a keen interest on energy, but also a nervous system that was forever affected. So I am still prone now after emotional bouts or very physical, weeks at work where I have just been burning the candle at both ends, taking on too much with the work and family juggle, to exhaustion and to sort of symptoms of that fatigue that I remember. So, as you can imagine, I will do everything I can to create energy, to maintain energy, and to look after myself. So, I'm going to help you with that today. And obviously, being at the Habit Nerd, we are research informed. So, the tips and the strategies you'll hear from me today are a collection that are pulled together from dietitians and also from the medical faculty, so general practitioners. The first step when we're talking about the physical aspect of energy, which is what I'll focus on today, is to think about the exchange that is taking place every day. So think about, are you giving away too much of your physical energy or your mental and emotional energy to situations that are leaving you depleted? Or on the flip side, are you harnessing your energy and your mindset to be able to live your best life? Now, I hope in future episodes, Habit Nerds, to do a deeper dive into the other aspects of energy, and there are many, but I'm going to focus today just on the physical, and I'm hoping that some of these tips you can embed straight away as you focus and be able to survive the end of this year with lower energy stores because you have so many responsibilities, and plus it's the end of the year, so our bodies are physically tired anyway. But also maybe you can think about trialing some of these strategies as we emerge into the new year knowing that it will set your body up for success to take on all of the challenges and help you live a really wonderful, full and remarkable life. So let's start with my first tip, and this is around hydration. Now we need to aim for 6 to 8 glasses of water every day. And this much water energizes your brain and your muscles, and we know that dehydration is a major culprit for fatigue. I can tell by the time it gets to lunchtime or mid-afternoon, if I haven't had enough water, the headache starts to creep in. I can feel my cognitive resources depleting. I feel a bit foggy, and I basically am just not able to perform at my best, either physically or mentally. So 6 to 8 glasses of water is the goal. Now, when it comes to food, to nutrition, I'm not going to do a deep dive because I will have a separate episode for using food for energy. But on a fairly surface level, some studies do emphasize that smaller and more regular meals, so maybe every 3 to 4 hours, are helpful to stabilize your energy levels. Now, if you're wondering what to eat for optimum energy, I can tell you studies show that low glycemic index or low GI carbohydrates are a really great place to start. Now, these are things like beans, whole grain bread and pasta, brown rice, lentils, oats or porridge in the morning, soy products, beans and fruit are really excellent because they keep you full for longer, but they also help sustain your energy levels. Now, it's recommended by dietitians that you pair these carbohydrates with a good fat or protein source. Predominantly both is better. So what this does is it slows digestions and it helps stabilize your blood glucose levels. So proteins and fats that you should include alongside the carbohydrates if you can are things like eggs, chicken or turkey breast, salmon, tuna, nuts such as walnuts or almonds, tofu, Greek yogurt, olives or olive oil, or my all-time favorite, avocado. Now, habit nerds, it's really important for women and women of childbearing ages, but also everyone, to ensure that they have enough iron and vitamin B for energy. Iron and vitamin B means that oxygen cells get carried from your lungs, and this fuels every single cell. Now, these sources of iron and vitamin D that you can include in your diet are things like dark green leafy vegetables, lean red meats, pulses and beans, and things like nuts and seeds. Now, you'll notice that all of the suggestions I've given are whole, unprocessed foods. This is a game changer for me, and I realize and I recognize when I get a little bit busy and not as vigilant, I will reach for what would appear to be quote unquote healthy foods, but that are convenient and that are packaged. And the first thing I notice when I make those choices are that my energy is not as good, that my physical energy suffers. So I need to be really careful and organized to choose whole, unprocessed foods in all of the sources that I've just taken you through. The next thing we need to think about is caffeine. Now, it's no secret that I love my morning coffee. One of my favorite things to do in the morning after I've had a big glass of water and done some exercise is to go to my local cafe and get my latte. It is my treat, and I really do think it does have a positive impact on my physical energy. It gives me a boost and it makes me super sharp for my morning. Tea and coffee, though, should be consumed away from your main meals. So you should have at least a 1 hour window either side of when you're eating, because tea and coffee can affect and inhibit the iron consumption from your food. It's also recommended that you avoid caffeine, and particularly stronger sources of caffeine like coffee, after about 2 p.m. because it really does have an effect on your sleep. And it's better to switch to something non-caffeinated from the mid-afternoon and into the evening. Something else we need to pay attention to in terms of what we put in our body for physical energy is alcohol. Now, alcohol has a significant impact on your energy levels because alcohol is a depressant. Now, what that means is it causes a deficiency in both serotonin and dopamine, and that means that your energy will simply be lower, mostly the day after drinking. Therefore, hangovers, and you would know this, are quite tough on your energy, and it is not helpful that alcohol also negatively affects your sleep. Now, while we're talking about sleep, this is the magic elixir, because when you sleep, your body is being allowed to go into a state of rest and repair. A lack of sleep leads to fatigue, which causes a decline in your productivity and obviously your overall well-being. Now, when you don't get enough sleep, your body produces more of the hormone cortisol, and this is the stress hormone that leads you to feel sluggish. Therefore, enough quality sleep improves your mental clarity and your mental focus, and it allows you to make better decisions and get more done. It's recommended that you have a consistent wake up time and a consistent bedtime as much as you can manage it. And that 1 to 2 hours before you go to bed at night, you avoid eating, you avoid bright lights, and you avoid screens. Now, habit nerds, another magic formula for physical energy is exercise. And this is in any form. Moving your body can lead to higher brain dopamine levels, and this elevates your mood. Exercise also gives your cells more energy to burn, and therefore exercise circulates oxygen throughout your body, and this then helps you sleep more soundly. And as I just said, sleep is integral for the maintenance of physical energy as well. It's recommended that you dabble in exercise that you like, because exercise that you like means that you are going to be more likely to engage in it on a consistent basis, which is what we're really aiming for here if we are using exercise to support our physical energy. So you might like to choose things like walking or running. You might give dance a go, or Pilates or yoga. You might like to lift weights or do something in a group like functional fitness or CrossFit. So, habit nerds, a quick recap of all of the elements to support your physical energy that we have covered in this brief episode together. The first one is hydration, a reminder to drink just plain water is fine, 6 to 8 glasses. So a reminder to make that convenient for yourself by having your drink bottle nearby to you whilst you're working, in your car while you're driving, and very much within arm's reach throughout the day. So that becomes a more consistent habit. The other thing we talked about in terms of nutrition was nourishing your body with whole foods. So we talked about using low glycemic index carbohydrates and pairing these with good fats and lean proteins as much as you possibly can. The importance of including the minerals of iron and vitamin B to be able to support that really vital energy. The mindful enjoyment of things like caffeine. So enjoy caffeine, but be aware of the time of day that you're consuming it, and also alcohol. So not avoiding it altogether, but keeping a lid on it, no more than 10 standard drinks per week, and understanding that the day after drinking is when your energy will probably take the biggest hit. We also talked about a focus on good quality sleep. Now, a tip I didn't mention, but that might be helpful, is to not go to bed until you're actually tired, because sometimes we can lie in bed and get frustrated because we think it's our bedtime, but our body isn't signaling that we're quite ready for sleep. So a reminder, your body will tell you when you're tired. So go to bed at a consistent time each night if you can, and enjoy some really great quality sleep. Now, regular exercise is a must. Important to think about the type of exercise that you like, because when you like it and it is something that you look forward to doing, or that you can at least see the benefits of doing, you'll be more likely to engage in that on a consistent basis. So exercise that you like, and also exercise that is outside, so that you can get those really strong neuroscience-backed benefits of the vitamin D. And if you're somewhere green and in nature, that is going to supercharge that for your mental health as well as your physical energy. So habit nerds, I would be delighted if you would take the time to let me know which of the above tips that you are going to give a go to enhance your physical energy. When you have physical energy and when you feel vital in your body, you will have a much more remarkable life, and obviously be more productive at work and enjoy the day-to-day activities with your friends and your family so much more. So let me know at Habit Nerd over on Instagram how you go, and I look forward to connecting with you in our next episode. Thank you for tuning into this episode of The Habit Nerd. I hope you found some new inspiration, learned something new, or gained a fresh perspective. If you did enjoy the episode, I would be really grateful if you could please leave a 5-star review, as it helps the show get in the ears of new listeners, plus it should only take you 5 seconds. If you're keen for more tips and insights, then head over to Instagram and follow Habit Nerd.